Hello, everyone. It's Professor Schachter again, and I want to post on the lecture on how to write for TV because your final assignment in this class will be to write a TV commercial. Okay, so that assignment's going up right after this video. So when we write a TV commercial, please look into the folder Writing for TV in the Creative Lectures folder. You will see this script sample, and it's called a script sample. So before we get into the creative aspects of it, let's discuss a little bit the form, okay, in which you write. So your TV script is divided on two sides of the paper. On the left side, there's the video side. And on the right side is the audio part. It is very important to remember that when you write for TV, um, there are other people involved. There are the actors, there's the producer, there's the director, and they don't know what you had in mind when you wrote the script. So it is extremely important that we follow the format. And what is that format? Anything that is not to be spoken must be written in all capital letters because actors don't know what words they should say and what words they shouldn't say. So it is important to differentiate between the spoken word and directions or descriptions of the environment, of the scenes, or anything like that. So, therefore, if it's not to be spoken, it must be written in all caps. As you can see in the sample script, it is written in all caps, the video side. The sample script, like I said, is in your creative folder. Now, on the right hand side where it says audio, the name of the character must also be in all caps and underlined. Of course, the conversation part, the dialogue part, the parts that must be spoken will be written in upper and lower case. Now, in addition, on the left hand side, we're going to describe where the action is taking place. So, for example, over here it says it's nighttime in a bedroom, and we can just make out shapes of the furniture. So, when we're writing these commercials, we must visualize where the scene is taking place. And is an actor just walking in? They're about to walk out. We need to understand the setting. So the film crew and the director can actually understand what we're trying to visualize, what we're trying to say, and how we want it to build the emotions, the feelings, and the location. Don't forget, they're also location scouts, and those location scouts must find the ideal location. So the video side tells you the environment. Now, each scene has a video side and an audio side. There's no such thing as a scene without an audio side and without a video side. You can't just say that that the audio continues through. You must, for each scene, have video and audio. Okay? So the reason I'm getting very, very explicit about this, and there'll be other points as well, is because most of the points where students don't do well on this is because they don't follow directions. And this is one of those rare instances in creativity where we must follow the directions to the letter because it's important to how the product will actually be finished. Okay. There's no such thing as improvising on this. You can be as creative as you like, and I encourage creativity, you know that. But I need you to really understand format. Format is worth 50% of the grade. Okay. Now, the other requirements will be written in the in the assignment. So the other thing you'll notice is that as you look at the format, it'll say Paul parentheses VO. VO stands for voiceover. Voiceover happens when the person who is speaking is not on the screen. So it's voice over whatever's happening on the screen. Announcers in commercials have voiceovers because you see the last shot, it will be the product shot, and that's another rule. The last scene is always the product scene. And the and there may be some music, and there will be the announcer, but he or she will not be seen. So it will be considered voice over. So when an actor is speaking and they're not in the room, it is in parentheses VO, voice over. That's also very important. Now, the commercial will be a 30-second commercial. 30-second commercials should not have, at least for this class, more than 9 scenes. The last scene is should be on the screen for at least 2.5, 3 seconds. And the reason for that is because the last scene has a picture of the product with the slogan on the screen, and the viewer should be able to record in their mind the product name, the slogan, maybe a website, a call to action. So we need that to register. So that's 2.5, let's say 2.5 to 3 seconds. Let's call it 3 for rounding off. So that leaves us with 27 seconds. 27 seconds is not really 27 seconds because we have to do what's called a lead in and a lead out, meaning that we're not going to buffer against a commercial or the show just ended. We're going to leave a little space. That space is roughly that space is roughly 1 second. So we have a 1 second in the beginning and 1 second at the end. Now, if we add 3 seconds for the product shot, a 1 second lead in, and a 1 second lead out, we're looking at a commercial of 25 seconds. Okay. Now, this is for standard TV, and this is what this class is about. We know that if we are on Instagram or on social media, anywhere else, we can kind of play whatever we want. We can run longer videos, shorter videos. But for now, we're doing the traditional 30-second commercial. If we can do this right, we can do almost any other type of commercial correctly as well. So for some reason, I'm coughing again. Okay. So one of the things you'll notice also is that every single scene has conversation in it. That's also what we're looking for. And the conversation in a script is called dialogue. Now, a beginner writer, when they write dialogue, they tend to write complete sentences. But if you think about how you and your friends speak or how you speak in general, we don't really speak in complete sentences. Sometimes we speak over each other. Sometimes we interrupt each other and the person gets only half a word out. Well, a dialogue and this colloquialisms, and a dialogue is about how people speak. And if they have accents, you have to say there's an accent. And you must identify all these things. Okay? Now, another thing you'll notice in this sample script on the audio side is SFX and a colon. Now, when something is SFX, it means they're special effects. Now, when we are referring to special effects in a commercial or in video in general, we're not really referring to Star Wars or science fiction type grandiose special effects. What we're actually referring to is sound effects, all right? So sound effect could be nighttime sounds in this commercial. If an alarm clock rings is a special effect. Music, special effect. Other special effects can include bird sounds, dog barking, anything that's not dialogue, anything that is not in all caps as far as directions, is a special effect. Another rule is there's no such thing as a scene without any sound in it. right? You can't just have a video on this side and the scene here, and you're saying people are let's say it's just people sitting in two chairs opposite each other, staring at each other. There's no sounds. Okay, then you put in ambient sound, but there's no such thing as no sound. Think about it. Even if you sit quietly wherever you're watching this, and even if it's like 2 a.m. when theoretically it's very quiet, there's still what's known as the sounds of the night, right? A little bit of wind or whatever. So ambient sounds is still sound. So there's no such thing as a scene where there's no sound. There's no such thing as a scene that doesn't have video and audio components. Okay. So everything that happens on the left side has to have a corresponding right side. Okay. Now, I'm really not going to ask you to worry too much about many different types of video shots, but I'm going to introduce you to a few right now. So on the left-hand side under the video, you'll see initials CU. CU means it's a close-up. And over here it says, CU, Allison looking confused. So that would be a close-up. So this is a close-up. An extreme close-up would be this. Okay, might be scary. All right, a medium shot is this. And the lamp behind me is a faraway shot. So that's basically the only three shots I'm really looking for you to really understand. So you need to understand, is this scene going to be a close-up of someone's face? A medium shot will have the two people in it speaking like this. An extreme close-up is like really into someone's face, right? You can probably see inside their eyeball. That's basically how it is. And that an extreme close-up is an ECU. A medium close-up, meaning just a regular medium shot, which from here to here, half distance, which is what most shots are. And long shot, which is in here, which will be LS, long shot, would be where the lamp is in this room. If we are outside, a long shot could be a duck on a meadow, 100 yards away. So, of course, everything has to do with the scene and how it's set. So you need to keep these things in mind when you're actually trying to think how to promote your your brand in the commercial. So at this point in time, you should have started thinking, or you're probably in the process of thinking about your print ads. The good news is that the commercial will use the same slogan as the print ads. So that's one less creative thing to worry about. And the same call to action as the print ads. And the call to action and the slogan and a shot of the a shot of the product of the brand will be in the last scene. Done. Now, let's get into a little bit of creative. The opening scene is the most crucial part of any video production. And in your creative folder, you will see that I took a commercial from the 70s on the Ginsu ads. Ginsu was a knife sold in the 70s as an infomercial. Now, the interesting part about that Ginsu commercial is this. No one needs a steak knife. I mean, most people watch TV, they have knives in the house. They have knives, they have forks. So imagine you're watching this, and by the way, I know the history of that commercial. So I saw an interview with the people involved, so I'm borrowing from what they said. So if you think about this, somebody's laying on a couch in the 70s, and they're flipping to the TV, and all of a sudden they could run into this commercial. And that opening scene has to wake them up. And you'll see the commercial, it really does. And then it must grab their attention, just like the headline. So the opening scene is the headline. That's how you have to look at it. The opening scene is the headline in a commercial. And it also must stop you from changing channels. So once that scene is powerful and stops you, it must continue through to the last scene and tell a story. Commercials, whether they're 25 seconds or 25 minutes, or as a mini, as a sitcom or a half-hour show, they're all stories. You can tell a 5-second story, or you can tell a 5-hour story. What we're looking to do is tell a 25-second story. It has to have a beginning, a middle, an end. There's got to be a little bit of drama in the middle. There's going to be a point of tension, right? And that all depends on how you dramatize your benefit. The other thing is, how did you write your print ads? Were you using humor? Were you using scientific data? What were you doing? Because what were you doing in the print ads must continue in the commercial. If the print ads were very, very, very serious, right, you're not going to have a commercial that is very humorous. It's not the way the brand has communicated, and the consumers will be confused. So you're going to have to keep that same theme going. Now, what we're going to do is, and there's a lot of other handouts in that folder as well, how to write a script and so many other things. So what we're going to be doing is the following thing. I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to look at a few commercials online. Okay. One of them is for Peloton. One of them is from Bernbach for Volkswagen. You know how much I love Bernbach. And one of them is, and a few of them are going to be from Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds has gotten into the TV game, and turns out that he's pretty good at it. If you follow him on Instagram, I think the name of his ad agency, I think he bought it. It's called Maximum Effort or Maximum Impact. I'm not 100% sure. But I think, he owns some companies. Ryan Reynolds owns Mint Mobile and Aviation Gin, which he sold. So he's involved in quite a few commercials. He's also done some amazingly cute ads for Match.com, which I just saw on his Instagram profile. So let's look at some of these commercials, and I'll discuss them, and we can get a visual representation of what we're really trying to achieve. All right. So I'm going to share my screen. Okay. And let's look at this Bernbach commercial for Volkswagen. Now, this is one of the most famous Volkswagen Beetle commercials. And in traditional Bernbach fashion, he finds a question to ask that no one thought about asking before. Let's watch.
Have you ever wondered how the man who drives a snowplow drives to the snowplow? This one drives a Volkswagen. So you can stop wondering.
So this commercial has a lot of stopping power, because think about it. We see snow. I mean, unless you're living in Hawaii or something, but there's a lot of snow, right? And we see the streets getting plowed if you live in areas where streets get plowed. But we never wonder is, how does this person who plows the street get to the snowplow? And that is an incredible insight type commercial that kind of makes us say, yeah, how do they? Now, the interesting thing about that commercial is that it would probably work today. It would work for Jeep. It would work for a lot of four-wheel drive vehicles or all-wheel drive vehicles. So that is, it's an old black and white commercial. I think it's still very relevant today. Now, I would like to present you with what the internet considered, and the internet, I mean people on the internet, considered a controversial commercial. It is not my job to express an opinion, but I would like. But the reason I'm showing you this Peloton commercial is because Ryan Reynolds had a great response to it in another commercial. So it's an interesting kind of balance of the two. So let's look at this Peloton Wife commercial. It's called the Peloton Wife. It was done, I believe, for the holidays last year. Okay. Now the person I saw this one on the CBS um, News. They did a 2-minute piece on it, but I'll just play the commercial without any editorial.
Okay, you ready?
Yes.
Now.
A Peloton? Give it up for our first time
All
ride.
right, first ride. I'm a little nervous, but excited. Let's do this. 5 days in a row. You surprised? I am. 6 a.m. Yay.
Rising with the sun.
That was totally worth it.
Let's go race Boston 50 rides.
Jeez. Hey, a year ago, I didn't realize how much this would change me. Thank you.
This holiday, give the gift of Peloton.
Now, that commercial was considered controversial, and I can tell you what the complaints were. The complaints had to do with things like body.
We are back coming up on 7-4.
Sorry, it had to do with things like body issue image. Other people were saying that it shows the income disparity between people who own Pelotons who are supposedly very rich and people who don't. Another one, other people called the commercial sexist because, and they really went against the woman who played the wife, that she was just working like this for her. And that ties into the body image to please her husband, who was just sitting on the couch, proud of his wife for working out. So that sent out a very sexist message. So these are the comments that were made online about the commercial. Now, what's really cool about it, not the comments or the commercial, is how Ryan Reynolds capitalized on that. So this is his. Now he owns a company called Aviation Gin, and I'm showing you this commercial. This is not about underage drinking. So if you're under 21, I'm not encouraging you to drink. I'm just showing you positioning and how Ryan Reynolds, who is it was named in Adweek the hottest creative in advertising these days. Okay, today. And I think it was the Adweek of a couple of weeks ago. So let me show you. So this is the same woman who played the wife in the Peloton commercial.
This gin is really smooth.
Yeah.
We can get you another one if you like. You're safe here. To new beginnings.
To new beginnings.
There you go. This could be a fun night. There you go. Take this too.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
You look great, by the way.
Okay, so let's watch what he said to the controversy.
My doctor requires no insurance.
No copay.
And I get to see her as many times.
We're acknowledging and playing with the cultural landscape. Monica Ruiz, who's the actress that was in the Peloton ad, was in a situation that I've been in many times before. When you do, you have a piece of content, you're an actor, you put it out there, and it doesn't quite work, and you feel a little alienated and stuff. So I had tremendous empathy for her in that moment.
On Wednesday, December 4th, Ryan got wind of a viral video involving a woman on a Peloton bike. The internet backlash was quick and severe, with many calling it sexist and out of touch.
First time
All
ride.
right, first ride. I'm a little nervous, but excited. Let's do this. 5 days in a row. You surprised? I am. A year ago, I didn't realize how much this would change me. Thank you.
By Friday, Ryan's gin company found the starring actress, Monica Ruiz, and filmed a brand new ad poking fun at all the backlash and released it that night.
You're safe here. To new beginnings.
To new beginnings. There you go. It's gonna be a fun night.
Doing the aviation gin ed sort of gave her some authorship over some of this conversation, which I loved, and she's the best. She's really funny, really smart, and she's handling it all really well.
Monica will do her first sit-down interview with the Today Show tomorrow, but this weekend she released a statement saying, "Although I'm an actress, I'm not quite comfortable being in the spotlight, and I'm terrible on social media. So to say I was shocked and overwhelmed by the attention this week, especially the negative, is an understatement." The company behind the original Peloton ad says they are disappointed the commercial has been misinterpreted as sexist. As for the man fronting it all, well, he's now been dubbed the Peloton husband. Sean Hunter, a Vancouver elementary teacher, told Global News BC he's even received hurtful messages online.
People started using harsh words, sexist, misogynist, a symbol of the patriarchy. And I, whoa, these are harsh things that are not associated with my character and not associated with me in any way. I want people to remember the positive elements that happened in the commercial. We're promoting fitness. We're promoting personal health.
This is an important lesson for everyone in advertising and you students who are about to enter the world of marketing communications. What your intentions are and what the receiver interprets or decodes, remember the communications process from chapter 4, I believe, in AC 111, are sometimes are completely opposite. You intend to, let's say, in this case, let's just take this case, to have a message of fitness and positivity and a loving relationship, and it's interpreted completely the other way. And so these are parts of the culture that we live in, that forever. Advertising always lived in the spotlight, and brands always lived in the spotlight. So we must be very careful at the messages we present. So creativity must be subject to also the correct interpretation. Ryan Reynolds did a great job of capitalizing on it, which is the other side of this. We must be very hyper aware of everything going on in the news in order to capitalize on it for our brand. He didn't have 2-3 weeks to hear about it. Him or his team, whomever, they got it out that night, because you can in social media these days. So immediacy is important. Culture is important. And as I keep stressing, context is important. We live, the brand lives, society lives in context. And with social media, that context may be broader than we anticipated. Okay, so let's look at some other Ryan Reynolds commercials so we can discuss actually his impact on advertising. And I have them here. This one is for Aviation Gin. And in this, he calls it the homeschool edition. He capitalized on the fact that a lot of students, a lot of kids are learning from home, young kids, and they're very, and the parents are overly tired. It's hard for the parents, not just the kids, who I'm sure it's very tough on, but for the parents to take on the role of teachers, and they're feeling overwhelmed. So in traditional Ryan Reynolds fashion, he's finding sort of selling through a compassionate, empathetic humor. Keep in mind, this is targeted at adults who are parents. So I'm not sure if you can relate to it or not, or you can understand what he's trying to say from the parent point of view, but I'm going to play it because it had a tremendous impact on the brand.
It's back to school time, which this year has a whole new meaning. That's why today I'm introducing Aviation American Gin Homeschool Edition. It's just like the classic, delicious aviation gin that you love, but with more ounces. It can help with a variety of subjects, fourth grade geography, whatever the new math is, and revisiting your own long-forgotten middle school traumas.
Middle school is the worst.
Okay, and the next one is the Mint Mobile, which he also owns.
Hello there, you've reached the voicemail box of Ryan Reynolds, owner of Mint Mobile. Please leave your name, message, and least favorite Ryan Reynolds movie after the beep.
Oh my God. Did I really just miss a phone call from Ryan Reynolds?
I'm not sure why you called me or who you are. You're probably expecting a lot of people to say Green Lantern, but I really liked Green Lantern. The proposal.
Hey, I thought you were awesome as a child actor on Little House on the Prairie.
This is hilarious.
We are also bored crazy in quarantine, so I thought I'd call you back.
Yeah, I actually haven't seen that many, but I really enjoyed the proposal.
I'm a big fan of your haircut. I actually get my haircut very much like yours.
Going stir crazy, especially with a 14-month-old. So I appreciate the call.
Least favorite Ryan Reynolds movie? Probably Deadpool. Hey, thank you for the unlimited data.
If you don't have anything to do during the quarantine, you can watch Gossip Girl. I love Mint Mobile. I'm a huge fan. I'm happy.
Your worst movie is, I don't know, man. Your wife is smoking hot.
I don't have a least favorite movie of yours because I have never seen any of your movies. But thank you for the phone service. It's been great so far, and I will recommend you guys to my friends.
That was amazing. I loved it.
This was great to wake up to today. Thank you. Okay, bye.
That's pretty cool. Bye.
Bye.
So Ryan Reynolds actually called
Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds.
people who use Mint Mobile because he bought the company and he wants people to be very viral with it. And by the way, all these commercials that were on his Instagram account, which I believe has a few million people on it. So he's making it, I believe, tapping into his personality, very much so. And this tapping into his own personality, which is a little bit cynical, people respect him. But he's also kind, I think. It's not a mean kind of cynicism. He's also poking fun at the other, bigger Verizon, T-Mobile, and AT&T, which do very traditional and kind of very boring commercials. And we've seen those. So let's play one more. I'm a big fan of Ryan Reynolds' creative work.
Owner of Mint Mobile. Almost 3 months ago, we launched Mint Unlimited for just $30 a month, and the response was amazing. What no one picked up on, though, was that the little Easter egg that's in that video. Now, if you look very closely, we shrunk a tiny little N next to the T in Unlimited. You can go see for yourself. It's on YouTube. It's there. That's right. Unlimited. Now, why would we do that? Well, it turns out the average American only uses 6 gigabytes of data, but people love having unlimited. So wireless companies use it as a way to increase revenue. Not at Mint. Not on my watch. In just a couple of weeks, we're going to start letting unlimited users know exactly how much data they've been using before they renew. So your monthly usage, if it safely fits within our 12 gigabyte, 8 gigabyte, and 3 gigabyte plan, we'll recommend that you switch so you can pay less. Unlimited. It's unlimited without your wireless company trying to
Now,
Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds.
hold on a second. I just need to get to the end. As future copywriters, you must appreciate the play on words because unlimited, right? All it was missing was the N to create unlimited. I can't pronounce it. But we must be very aware of words and what we can do with them, how we can play with them, how one little change can actually create to a brilliant creative execution. And that's another reason why I wanted to let you see this. Now, there's Ryan Reynolds also is doing work for Match.com, and this is the last Ryan Reynolds commercial. Now, again, I don't know what anyone watching this video right now's experience has been with dating services, but people who are on dating services, especially on Match.com, to find romance, a significant other, love, whatever they're looking for, don't have usually pleasant experiences. And if you hear the complaints about it, and at my age, I've heard my friends complain about a lot of different things. So we feel like they're on these constant marathon and all these services are alike and people lie. So Ryan, and they always promise, the promise of all the competitors are always about the algorithm. If you ever watch those commercials, they always talk about how our algorithm will match you better than the competitor's algorithm, and you're going to find the true love of your life, or whatever the promise is. So let's watch what Ryan Reynolds does with that traditional Match.com promise. I mean, competitor's promise.
Satan?
Hi. 2020.
Please. Call me 2020. So where are you from?
Oh.
Me too.
Only you save me. I've been feeling so alone. I keep waiting for you, but you never come. It's this in my head. I don't know what to think. He knelt to the ground and pulled out a ring and said, "Marry me, Juliet. You'll never have to be alone. I love you, and that's all I really know. I talked to your dad, go be out of my bed. Love story, baby, just say
I just don't want this year to end.
Who would?
Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing now. So what, let's see, let me get in. Okay, here we go. So what Ryan Reynolds does, and what I would love to see you do, and what great creative usually does, is take expectations and surprise us. Communicate the message in a fun way. Now, 2020 is the year we live in right now, in case you didn't catch her name. And we all know how people refer to this year as not being, let's say, their favorite year. And Ryan Reynolds and his advertising style is relevant because he captures what's in the news, what we're feeling, and also at different times how other big telephone companies, mobile phone companies rip us off. So he understands how to position. And that is what we've been trying to do this whole semester, through understanding the consumer, and finally the ads. The ads are where you tell the consumer what you want them to think of you in a fun, engaging, informative way, depending on the product. So when we understand the competition, and remember the assignment for the creative brief was, how are you going to tell it differently? So how's Ryan Reynolds telling the Match Find Your Ideal Other differently? How is he communicating the benefits of unlimited phone when it really isn't unlimited, because most people don't need it? So he becomes the consumer's friend in that one. He becomes aligned with, hey, I'm honest, I'm transparent, we're never going to rip you off. And then, of course, rescuing the Peloton wife and making her an actress in the Aviation Gin. And that ties in perfectly because she was treated so roughly, she just needed a drink. So to tie it all together, and there's more information in the folder, this commercial, these ads, it's not just, they are fun, but the creative comes from a creative brief of what we're trying to communicate. What is the benefit of the brand? And how do we translate that benefit into a cute, interesting positioning? Okay. And this is where we are. I'm going to be posting the assignment. And if you have any questions, I'm always available. Thank you.